I've been speaking to Dame Joanna Lumley, a long-time campaigner for the rights and welfare of animals, in particular farm animals. I started by asking her why we seem to treat farm animals so differently to our pets.
People will carefully keep and tend a couple of budgies in a cage. They won't think twice about the way that chicken is farmed, crammed in together, miserably short lives, overfed, sometimes made to put on weight so fast that their legs can't support them. A completely hideous way of living. They wouldn't think twice about not getting a chicken nugget for supper. And yet those are birds, and for some reason they're not real birds. Do you know what I mean? Birds are different birds you put in a feeder and things like this. So we have this slightly dreadful attitude where we will kill to get the right food for our dogs and cats, ponies, hamsters. But pigs, cattle...
Incredibly intelligent pigs, you know, the suffering of pigs.
It's one of the most ghastly things in the world.
Is horrendous.
When you know how intelligent they are, I had the greatest privilege once. In Compassion in World Farming, as it was called, it's now shortened its name to Compassion. We were trying to get the government to accept that animals, and farm animals in particular, are sentient creatures, because up until then they weren't protected, in transport particularly.
Extraordinary.
They were treated like a sack of potatoes or a kilo of apples.
Still having that debate, you know, that we should have to have a kind of big debate as to whether animals feel anything.
I know, well, it was so odd because we decided to go to Parliament taking a small pig to Parliament to show that a pig has feelings. And so, but the night before, this tiny pig called, of course, Babe, came with her grown-up man and a dog, a collie dog, who, rather like him, Babe, the pig thought was its mother because it was an orphan piglet. And they came to my house, and Piglet spent the night with me, Babe, and she was as quick as that. I showed her where the dirt tray was. She didn't need showing twice. She never made a mistake. She only used the dirt tray. I was writing a book at the time and was sitting at a desk, and the fire was on. She just lay in front of the fire like a little puppy, went to sleep. Always looking when she woke up to find her mother, i.e. the dog, who was going, oh God, this pig again. Anyway, the dog was very patient and good with it. And the next day I put on my best clothes and we got into a London taxi who had been told about this. And Pig and I went, with man and dog lying on the floor, to Parliament. And when I got there to St Stephen's Green, just outside, the press were there as if they were waiting for a movie star. And I opened the door. The Guardian got the most sensational picture of me in my hat and grand clothes, and on a lead, small piglet jumping out of the thing. And she went straight to the lawn and began rootling it up. And they were all going, oh my God. And I was saying, I was like her carer. I was going, she'll get very cold in this weather. It was November. So look after. I think that's enough for her. She's getting bored and tired now. This small piglet rootling around.
Sweet. When was this?
This was 10, 15 years ago. 15 years, easy. But the truth is that this country was the one who managed to get farm animals rated as sentient creatures. So we took that to Brussels and managed to get them. And so I went and spoke twice at Brussels at the big parliament over there. And Europe grudgingly, because you know quite often the standards of animal welfare on the continent
much worse
are very grim in many places.
In Eastern Europe.
Very grim in many places. And so they adopted it. And of course, when Brexit happened and we came out, it seems that we abandoned all those things, and we're now having to think again whether we treat them as... You go, hang on, what's happened? How have we gone back? We introduced this.
Yeah. It was not supposed to happen. I don't quite know what happened there, but it looks like we forgot to cut and paste those particular laws, and so we have to go through it all again.
So we start all over again.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And I mean, the other opportunity that now arises is on live animal exports, which I'm sure you know about.
We've done a lot of work for that too. And it doesn't matter, 3 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, or sometimes 4 steps backwards, and you start all over again. And people keep saying, oh, there are jobs. People put jobs, you'll find this, Isabel, people put jobs almost above anything. Yeah. Now, I understand this, we all want jobs. We all want to pay for things. But just as in the old days, the man who cleaned the chimneys and kept a boy to go up the chimneys was a job, some things are now outdated. We can do things differently. Yes. So we were always saying, let's have, if export has got to happen, which it will, let's have chilled carcass. So kill the animals at home, don't travel them for 16, 18 hours with no lairage, where they're dealt with in a horrifically inhumane way at the other end.
Yeah.
So it's been a fight